When Zarathustra was 30 years old, he left his home and the lake of his home and went into the mountains. Here he had the enjoyment of his spirit and his solitude, and he did not weary of it for 10 years. But at last his heart turned, and one morning he rose with the dawn, stepped before the sun, and spoke to it thus. Great star, what would your happiness be if you were not those for whom you shine? You have come up here to my cave for 10 years. You would have grown weary of your light and of this journey without me, my eagle, and my serpent. But we waited for you every morning, took from your superfluidity, and blessed you for it. Behold, I am weary of my wisdom. Like a bee that has gathered too much honey, I need hands outstretched to take it. I should like to give it away and distribute it, until the wise among men have again become happy in their folly, and the poor happy in their wealth. To that end, I descend into the depths, as you do at evening, when you go behind the sea and bring light into the underworld. Superabundant star, like you, I must go down, as men, to whom I want to descend, call it. So bless me then, tranquil eye, that can behold without envy even an extensive happiness. Bless the cup that wants to overflow, that the waters may flow golden for him and bear the reflection of your joy all over the world. Behold, this cup wants to be empty again, and Zarathustra wants to be man again. Thus began Zarathustra's downgoing. Zarathustra went down the mountain alone, and no one met him. But when he entered the forest, an old man, who had left his holy hut to look for roots in the forest, suddenly stood before him. And the old man spoke thus to Zarathustra.
This wonder is no stranger to me. He passed by here many years ago. He was called Zarathustra, but he has changed. Then you carried your ashes to the mountains. Will you today carry a fire into the valley? Do you not fear an incidentary punishment? Yes, I recognize Zarathustra. His eyes are clear and no disgust lurks about his mouth. Does he not go along like a dancer? How changed Zarathustra is. Zarathustra has become a child, an awakened one. What do you want now with the sleepers? You lived in solitude as in the sea, and the sea bore you. Alas, do you want to go ashore? Alas, do you want again to drag your body, yourself,
Zarathustra answered, I love mankind.
Why
Said the saint.
did I go into the forest and the desert? Was it not because I love mankind all too much? Now I love God. Mankind I do not love. Man is too imperfect a thing for me. Love of mankind would destroy me.
Zarathustra answered, What did I say of love? I am bringing mankind a gift.
Give them nothing.
Said the saint.
Rather take something off of them and bear it with them. That will please them best. If only it be pleasing to you. And if you want to give to them, give no more than an alms. Let them beg for that.
No, answered Zarathustra. I give no alms. I am not poor enough for that. The saint laughed at Zarathustra and spoke thus.
See to it that they accept your treasures. They are mistrustful of hermits, and do not believe that they come to give. Our steps ring too lonely through their streets, and when at night they hear in their beds a man going by long before the sun has risen. They proudly ask themselves, where is that thief going? Do not go to men, but stay in the forest. Go rather to the animals. Why will you not be as I am, a bear among bears, a bird among birds?
And what does the saint do in the forest? Asked Zarathustra. The saint answered,
I make songs and sing them. And when I make songs, I laugh, I weep, I mutter. Thus I praise God. With singing, weeping, laughing, and muttering, I praise the God who is my God. But what do you as a gift.
When Zarathustra heard these words, he saluted the saint and said, "What should I have to give to you? But let me go quickly, that I may take nothing from you." And thus they parted from one another, the old man and Zarathustra, laughing as two boys laugh. But when Zarathustra was alone, he spoke thus to his heart. Could it be possible? This old saint has not yet heard in his force that God is dead. When Zarathustra arrived at the nearest of towns, laying against the forest, he found in that very place many people assembled in the market square, for it had been announced that a tightrope walker would be appearing, and Zarathustra spoke thus to the people. I teach you the Superman. Man is something that should be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? All creatures hitherto have created something beyond themselves. And do you want to be the ebb of this great tide, and return to the animals and rather than overcome man? What is the ape to men? A laughingstock, or a pitiful embarrassment? And just so shall be man to the Superman, a laughingstock or a pitiful embarrassment. You have made your way from worm to man, and much in you is still worm. Once you were apes, and now man is more an ape than an ape. But he who is the wisest among you, he is also only a discord, and hybrid of plant and of ghost. But do I bid you become ghosts or plants? Behold, I teach you the Superman. The Superman is the meaning of the earth. Let your will say, the Superman shall be the meaning of the earth. I entreat you, my brothers, remain true to the earth, and do not believe those who speak to you of superterrestrial hopes. They are prisoners, whether they know it or not. They are despairers of life, atrophying in self-poisoned men, of whom the earth is weary, so let them be gone. Once blasphemy against God was the greatest blasphemy, but God is dead, and thereupon these blasphemers died too. To blasphemy the earth is now the most dreadful offense, and to esteem the bowels of the inconstructible more highly than the meaning of the earth. Once the soul looked contemptuously upon the body, and then this contempt was the supreme good. The soul wanted escape from the body and from earth. Oh, this soul was itself lean, monstrous, famished, and cruelty was the delight of the soul. But tell me, my brothers, what does your body say about your soul? Is your soul not poverty, dirt, and miserable ease? In truth, man is a polluted river. One must be a sea to receive a polluted river and not deflate. Behold, I teach you the Superman. He is the sea. In him your great contempt can go under. What is the greatest thing you can experience? It is the hour of the great contempt, the hour in which even your happiness grows loathsome to you, and your reason and your virtue also. The hour when you say, "What good is happiness? It is poverty and dirt and a miserable ease, but my happiness should justify existence itself." The hour when you say, "What good is my reason? Does it long for knowledge as the lion for its food? It is poverty and dirt, a miserable ease." The hour when you say, "What good is my virtue? And has not yet driven me mad. How tired am I of my good and my evil? It is all poverty and dirt and a miserable ease." The hour when you say, "What good is my justice? I do not see that I am fire and hot coals." But the just man is fire and hot coals. The hour when he say, "What good is my pity? Is not my pity the cross upon which he loves man is nailed? But my pity is not crucifixion." Have you ever spoken thus? Have you ever cried thus? Ah, that I had heard you cry thus. It is not your sin, but your moderation that cries to heaven. Your very meanness in sinning cries to heaven. Where is the lightning to lick you with its tongue? Where is the madness with which you should be cleansed? Behold, I teach you the Superman. He is the lightning. He is the madness. When Zarathustra had spoken thus, one of the people cried, "Now we've heard enough of the tightrope walker. Let us see him too." And all the people laughed at Zarathustra. But the tightrope walker, who thought that the words appealed to him, set to work. But Zarathustra looked at the people and marveled. Then he spoke thus: "Man is a rope, fastened between animal and Superman, a rope above an abyss, a dangerous going across, a dangerous wayfarer, a dangerous looking back, a dangerous shuddering and staying still. What is great in man is that he is a bridge and not a goal. What can be loved in man is that he is going across and down going. I love those who do not know how to live except their lives by down going, for they are those who are going across. I love the great despairers, for they are the great venturers and arrows of longing for the other bank. I love those who do not first seek beyond the stars for reason and to go down and to be sacrifices, but who sacrifice themselves to the earth, that the earth may one day belong to the Superman. I love him who lives for knowledge, for who knows knowledge, that knows the Superman may live, and thus he wills his own downfall. I love him who works in verts, and he may build a house for the Superman, and prepare earth, animals, and plants for him, for thus he wills his own downfall. I love him who loves his venture, his virtue. He will do downfall and an arrow of longing. I love him who keeps back no drop of spirit for himself, but wants to be spirit of his virtue entirely. Thus he steps as spirit over the bridge. I love him who makes a predilection and a fate of his virtue. Thus for his virtue's sake he will live or not live. Love him who does not want too many virtues. One virtue is not virtue to who, because it is more of a knot for fate to cling to. I love him whose soul is Ivish, who neither wants nor returns thanks, for he always gives will, not perceive himself. I love him who is ashamed when dice fall in his favor, and who then asks, am I then a cheat? For he wants to perish. I love him who throws golden words to advance of his deeds, and also prefers more than he promises, for he wills his own downfall. I love him who justifies the men of the future and redeems the men of the past, for he wants to perish by the men of the present. I love him who chastises his God because he loves his God, for he must perish by the anger of his God. I love him whose soul is deep even in the ability to be wounded, and whom even a little thing can destroy. Thus he is glad to go over the bridge. I love him whose soul is overfull, so he forgets himself, and all things are in him. Thus all things become his downfall. I love him who is a free spirit and a free heart. Thus his head is only the bowels of his heart, but his heart, in him he is divided, and is his downfall. I love all those who like heavy drops fall slightly from the dark cloud that hang over mankind, that perhaps the coming of the lightning and the prophets they perish. Behold, I am a prophet of the lightning, and of a heavy drop from the cloud. But this lightning is called Superman. When Zarathustra had spoken these words, he looked again at the people and fell silent. There they stand, he said to his heart. There they laugh. They do not understand me. I am not the mouth for these ears. Dang it. Dang it, Nietzsche. Ugh. Okay, redo that. They do not understand me. I am not the mouth for these ears. One must first shatter their ears to teach them to hear with their eyes. One must rumble like drums and latent preachers. Or do they believe only those who stammer? They have something of which they are proud. What is it called that makes them proud? They call it culture. It distinguishes them from the goat herd. Therefore they dislike hearing the word contempt spoken to them. So I shall speak to their pride. So I shall speak to them of the most contemptible man. And that is the ultimate man. And thus spoke Zarathustra to the people. It is time for man to fix his goal. It is time for man to plant the seed of his highest hopes. The soil is rich enough for it. But this soil will one day be poor and weak. No longer will a high tree be able to grow from it. Alas, the time is coming when man will no longer shoot the arrow of his longing out over mankind, and the string of his bow will have forever. Oh my, I am having so many fucking articulation issues. My gosh, I am straining myself. And the string of his bow will have forgotten how to twang. I tell you, one must have chaos in one to give birth to a dancing star. I tell you, you still have chaos in you. Alas, the time is coming when man will give birth to no more stars. Alas, the time of the most contemptible man is coming. the man who can no longer despise himself. Behold, I shall show you the ultimate man. What is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? Thus again, an ass, the ultimate man, and blinks. The earth has become small, and upon its hops, the ultimate man, who makes everything small. His race is inextricable as the flea. The ultimate man lives longest. We have discovered happiness, say the ultimate man, and blink. They have left the places where living was hard, for one needs warmth. One still loves one's neighbor, and rubs oneself against him, for one needs warmth. Sickness and mistrust count as sins with them. One should go about wearily. He is a fool who still stumbles over stones or over men. A little poison now and then, that produces pleasant dreams, and a lot of poison at last for a pleasant death. They still work, for work is entertainment, but they take care of that entertainment does not exhaust them. Nobody grows rich or poor anymore. Both are too much of a burden. Who still wants to rule? Who obey? Both are too much of a burden. No herdsman and one herd. Everyone wants the same thing. Everyone is the same. Who thinks otherwise goes voluntarily into the madhouse. Formerly all the world was mad. See the most acute of them and blink. They are clever and know everything that has ever happened, so there is no end to their mockery. They still quarrel, but they soon make up, otherwise indigestion will result. They have their little pleasures for the day, and their little pleasures for the night, and they respect health. We have discovered happiness, say the ultimate men, and blink. And here ended Zarathustra's first discourse, which is also called the prologue. For at this point the shouting and the mirth of the crowd interrupted him. "Give us this ultimate man, O Zarathustra!" they cried. "Make us into this ultimate man! You can have the Superman!" And all the people laughed and shouted. But Zarathustra grew sad and said to his heart, "They do not understand me. I am not the mouth for these ears. Perhaps I lived too long in the mountains, listened too much to the trees and the streams. Now I speak to them as to goat herders, unmoved in my soul and bright as the mountains in the morning. But they think me cold and a mocker with fearful jokes. And now they look at me and laugh. Laughing, they still hate me. There is ice in their laughter.